Hey listeners, thank you so much for clicking on. I hope you enjoy this new episode of Wrap It Out. And here we appreciate you for supporting us and listening to all our episodes, including this one. So we appreciate you and enjoy the episode. Thank you very much. Okay, it's turning on. Hi everybody, welcome to the start of season 4. So this is me Musically, and as you guys have seen by my socials, I'm officially back online, as you all say. I'm back online. So I'm really super excited to be back doing all this. I'm here with Just Boss Talk JD, or you all might know him as well as JBT-JD. Um, so welcome to Wrap It Out. I'm so honored to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here as well.
Perfect. We have
Uh,
so much to get into, and I'm so excited. And I've gotten a chance to listen to a few songs of yours, and I love what you have, and I love it. So speaking about the music, I want to kind of ask, you know, I kind of want to get into first of all just the inspiration behind just your music. So what got you to, even get the music taste and getting these songs of like what inspired you to go on this, career journey?
yeah, so I'd say I was interested in music at a young age, and um, a big like pillar in my community for a lot of the children in the Black community that I'm from is our church. So all of my family members were in a church choir, so we developed singing skills and writing skills from there, and from doing that, and I after a while, after when I moved away and stuff like that, I realized that I actually had a deep passion for it, so I continued to do it and kept making more music and getting more into the industry.
Absolutely. I love that, and especially I can relate because I was in choir for a couple years, so that really that hit me in my heartstrings. So that is really cool though. And definitely that moment worked because here you are with this career. And speaking of the name is really cool. I like the acronym. I love what it means. So I definitely want to get into your identity. So what is exactly, I guess I would say like what is like the origin story behind, your, artist identity and even the name?
So the origin of the name, what came about, like when I was first making music, I would put my actual name, but then someone was like, "You should make up a name," and I was with a few friends, and we're like making names for each other, and so we just came up with Just Boss Talk as a group name type deal, and then I added the JD, and more of just kept it flowered and became something bigger and became more of a self identity of kind of inspiring people to be like bosses themselves. Like everyone has something in them. Like I wouldn't really call like my fan base as fans. I would say like we're all bosses of our own. We're all trying to make it somewhere and stuff like that. So that's where the inspiration and idea for the name came from.
Oh, that's awesome and very clever, by the way. Because you hear a million times like fan bases, and fan names. Like you hear that a million times, and it's really cool that you think of your listeners, this whole crew, as their own bosses. Because we really are our own bosses. We're their own drivers. Or is really clever. So I love that. That's really awesome. And speaking of the music industry, so you've been in this for a little while, so I kind of wanted to get your insight on you know, the introduction of the music industry. So how would you describe, your introduction to the music industry? Like, how would you describe it?
So first I did a lot like it really came came from like just doing it in my room for fun and not showing people, and then I started uploading it, and then a few people were like, "This is good," like, and then I started doing it with friends, and we are like, "This could go somewhere." So my mom at that point I was just like freestyling and stuff like that, but my mom had actually bought me a microphone to record with a computer, and that really started my journey of like being like I actually can do this. And then my mom also paid for me to get actual studio time to go and record a song, and it was more of like from my community seeing it in me, that seeing it in me before I saw it in myself, that eventually I could grow into a big inspirational artist. And I would say that lots of the reception that I get is what drives me to keep going into the music industry. And along the way, I meet new friends and meet new people, and the music scene for hip hop and rap and stuff like that. Isn't that big in the province that I'm from in Canada, Nova Scotia, and everything here is really just starting to get fluent. Like there's only really about two or three really mainstream rappers here that globally would not are not mainstream, but to us there are like people we praise, and they're like pioneers. And I feel like um, throughout my journey of learning and experiencing and doing music with different people, just the way that we collab ideas and different styles is making a real is making a culture for our province. Like it's helping like everyone feel connected and everyone feel like they're a part of something. So I feel like it's like a bigger movement than I am. So as the music industry here grows, like we all grow together, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That really hit me, and one of the favorite parts that you had mentioned was definitely the sense of community. I definitely love the way you uplift each other, and, I definitely support that, I love it, being that I listen to a billion hours of music every day, so, um, I definitely love that. It's amazing just to hear that. And speaking of your area, I kind of want to hear this from you, being that, you kind of get a sense of what music is like, where you are. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite upcoming artist? Any favorites, in that sense?
Yes. So we have like a nonprofit collective group called Nova Scotia Hip Hop, and there's a lot of like young aspiring artists, like Driz. I know there's Lil Celio. There's Bag Chaser Sony. There's some like they're like 16, 17, really young people who are just doing it all themselves in their room on a computer, and it's just really cool that we can inspire them to keep doing it, because when they get to the level that we're at and we build a community here for music, the music scene more, they'll be able to be more successful and more wider known and stuff like that when they get to the point of their career that we're at currently. So
Mm,
it's a,
okay, okay. Cool, cool. And definitely, again, I love how you guys support each other. That's a really, amazing thing to see. It's very rare to see. Even nowadays, it's very rare to see that. So that's really, really nice to hear. But definitely, so far, I'm loving the times, and I'm just really loving where you're coming from. So that's amazing. And speaking of things amazing, I kind of wanted to talk about a song that you put out. Of course, not the song for the showcase, not that. I'm talking about this song, which all of you, if you guys are on his Instagram, definitely is worth checking out. Which is called "Scared to Love," and I got a chance to listen to a little bit of it. I have to go back and listen to the whole thing later on because I have a million things to do. Um, so I kind of wanted to ask you first of all, congrats on this new song. Um,
thank you.
of course. Really cool single. I definitely love the sound of it, and really cool. And if you all have not gotten a chance to listen to it, now would be a good time to jam to it because it's really cool. So I kind of wanted to ask you, what was the whole process behind this new song.
So, I have I have a new festival that part of the lineup coming up, and there's a lot of different genres that are going to be being played there, and it really came from I was working on a song before, like trying to get inspired to make R&B song, and I feel like when I took a second look at it and I made it or like it's more of a piece to kind of help other people. Like I think that other people could use it to either help them get through spiritually, emotionally, through things they're going through and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking when I made it, and also like I wanted to show the full extent of my range in vocal. Like my vocal range is vast, so I wanted to also show that I'm not like a one trick pony that I can do multiple things in multiple genres. So I wanted to also kind of show my versatility.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a huge thing when it comes to, making a song is, being versatile when it comes to the different production, which is actually what I was about to talk about because, as you were talking, I was, remembering when I was listening back to the song, I was noticing some of those parts of, exploring the sound and, you know, being more versatile. So, what was it like, going through the whole production? I guess I would say like process, the whole production behind this new single, and it could be like overall, but like, yeah.
Yeah. So it was something that I put together. So it was with um, one of my friends, Josh Bragg, had also helped me a bit with the beat productions and stuff like that. And it was a track that I had started to make and then went back to, and really wanted to show my growth as an artist and how much that I can use my art as like a reflection, so that I can put a message into this, and that the person or the reader or like the consumer can unpackage and get the same information that I'm putting in. So it's more of like a clear. I wanted to like show like a clear, distinctive way to like kind of like reach at people's hearts, if you know what I mean, to show people that like it's okay to feel things, and like it's okay to try things, like try new genres, try new styles, because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to grow and find new fans and new audience.
Interesting, interesting. And I definitely get the whole thing about, outreaching and, getting to new artists. That's really incredible. I mean, as I'm listening back, I'm like, yeah, I made the right choice. And this is really, really exciting to, put out, this new single. And, since you've been in this for a little while, I kind of wanted to ask you this as well. I was gonna ask later, but now this is a good way to ask. But as you know, there are millions of new artists every day, and that's the truth. We have a million new artists. So I kind of wanted to ask you, and it's always a tough question to ask people because, as people, um, what advice would you give people when it comes, to everything that you've done from of course, making music to performing to being on the production side of things to having this whole identity. What would you tell these younger artists?
Um, I would say that one thing that I've noticed that melody is a big thing in songs. That if the song doesn't have necessarily a good melody, or even if it's not a melody that's like not necessarily good, but something catchy, like it doesn't have to be something that sounds good to the ears, but even if it's something that like just catches your attention, the melody the melody is something that can drive like repetitive looks to the song and stuff like that, and have people like want to play it. And the lyrics and the lyrical content is also something that like people will come back for to a song to when they feel connected to the lyrics. Like if someone feels a connection to the lyrics, then they'll keep coming back for the lyrics. So it's more of knowing what types of songs need what types of depth of in the lyrics and what types of songs are better to stay light with the depth of lyrics so that people can understand it more and feel more connected to it.
Well done, well done. I agree with you 100%. And cool, cool. Well, young artists, make sure to take notes. Literally have a notebook and just like taking the notes. And speaking of performing, I kind of wanted to kind of get into this because it's really exciting to see on his Instagram, which um yeah, you guys, I did take the time to study um social media. I studied, so I did do that. So that proves I really invested time. So I kind of wanted to ask, you recently did a live performance at this place. I believe it's called the Bitten Moon Pub. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. So I've been doing a few shows like locally around the province and really breaking more into the live music scene because like in Nova Scotia, we do have a good scene for like teenagers and young adults that like listening to music online, but not necessarily will go to pay a ticket to go to a show to see a live performance. And especially if someone is performing and it's all just backtracks, they're not really bringing too much vocally to the performance, or like it's not something that is fully entertaining for the viewer, and that's where it becomes. Like a lot of artists will lose the passion before it because they're making the music thinking I'm only going to make what I love and then hope that it resonates with people. And then when it comes to stuff like shows and stuff like that, where you're like selling it as a product, the customer's always right in that sense. So when you're doing stuff like that, when you start breaking into this scene, it's a lot of the things that we thought were like rules or like were barriers in the music industry are things that are now like easily obtainable or things that are like looked at now because of the position and looked at it under a whole different scope. So um, I feel like that's a big thing.
Definitely. And being where I started my podcast and during COVID, I definitely appreciate the flexibility of being able to reach everybody when it comes to performing. That's what I noticed when I watched it because it was very high quality. And as I was watching, I mean, you wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a recording of a concert or of a show of popular artists. It's such a stretch.
Mhm.
Like it takes forever to
Yeah,
get a good recording, and then people suck recording on YouTube. So it's so much to get
yeah, it's always
out
shaky
of that.
cam. So yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely suggest for upcoming artists to make sure that you have like a dedicated cameraman or someone who, like a dedicated cameraman or photographer or stylist on side to kind of watch over to make sure things are going like that things are looking well for the customer. Because in a sense, when you're doing shows and stuff like that, it's different than the selling like and just giving your music to people and hoping that they enjoy listening to it and over again, like by downloading it. But when they're coming to pay for a performance, they're expecting to be entertained a little bit more rather than just something they could see at their home. So, a big thing for upcoming artists is to make sure that your shows, you're bringing it, you're all like, my first shows, I would have spent more money into the production and stuff like that. And I've had shows that I've lost out money on that I've put more money into making merch just to sell and give away and stuff like that because of the fact that it's better to grow as a community than to and have people leave feeling entertained and feeling like that was a really good time. I want to go back to the next one. Than to just feel like they just went there, got the paid the money, heard the song, and left. You know, so just bringing like stuff like merch to the table and even autographs if possible or personal songs, making personal snippet songs for people, for fans and stuff like that. That could be a big thing for young artists to look at to make sure that their show and performance life is like fulfilling, because I know that that's a lot of the struggles that artists have upcoming is when they switch from the just uploading their music online to actually like setting up shows and performing stuff, and they're doing the whole job of a crew that a management team would do for one of these big artists that would be setting up shows and making, pay cuts and making sure that there's a lineup of other artists, maybe if it's a long set, and timing the sets and DJing and all that. So I think that a lot of the younger artists are overlooked when they're doing the work of a whole team and it's only one person. So that's something that is really big in the music game.
Valid, valid. And let me just tell you, he is not wrong. Like, I literally have watched. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've tried to watch like Beyonce shows. I've tried to watch like concert shows on YouTube, and he's not lying. Yeah, I gotta take your little asses to Craigslist or Reddit and get y'all some videographers or photographers. So great tips. I cracked myself up. Anyway, um, that's really exciting to hear from that, and I appreciate the advice about performing. I'm sure many people out watching and listening are getting ready for their first performance. So this is really cool hearing about somebody who has went through that experience. So again, congrats to you on performing. I mean, that's really huge. Being able to even do that. That's huge. So
Thank you.
amazing. I mean, I applaud you on this amazing stuff you're doing, and only getting bigger from here. Excited for you. Let's see. Now, here comes the big part we're going to talk about. So, I believe you have an album, and I might be wrong, but you have one, or at least one that's coming out. Not entirely sure. I believe it's called Lost in Thought. Now,
Yeah.
am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. So my latest album release is Lost in Thought, and it's out on all platforms. It's lit for abbreviations, and this project is like the last mixtape that I put out was like just a collective of songs that I'd already put out, but this album for me was a project that I'd actually like put time and thought into it, and thought about like the listener's experience listening from the first song to the last song, and how the emotional flow of the songs and stuff will go. And like it's the first project where I put like all of my efforts into making sure that the person who's consuming the product or consuming the music is getting somewhat of the same information or the same feelings that I was giving, like putting into it. Because I feel like that resignation of when you feel like people understand you through your music, it makes you feel great and makes you want to keep doing it.
For sure, absolutely, and totally understand. For sure. And this is really exciting. First of all, again, congrats on this album.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, it was very exciting looking through your socials, and literally, I was like grinning from like side to side. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy has so much exciting stuff to get into." So this is really big. So I kind of want to dive back into the album just for a little bit. Um, so I kind of wanted to hear like Lost in Thought is a pretty heavy name. So what was the whole process behind, making this entire album and, getting out to the world? What was the whole process behind that?
So there was a lot of time like I spent preparing and making sure that everything was right. I had like original deadline that I wanted to get everything out, and then I didn't make that deadline because um, I wanted to make it a full cohesive project. So like I didn't want to like cut any corners on it, and I wanted to make sure that the features that were on it were also represented in a right way. So I wanted to make sure it was something that I wanted to take my time on, and I spent a lot of time with each of the songs. Like I made it on a song by song basis rather than to think about the project at whole until I was finished. And when I made it song by song, I could like feel the way that it was like the emotional change of the tempos and stuff like that as the album goes, so that it feels fluent, like when you listen through it all. So that it's not going from like maybe an intense vibe to a slow jam vibe, or it's not going from a slow jam vibe. Like it gradually like takes you on a journey. So I feel like it's an experience. Like it's with this project, I wanted to make sure that people had like an experience where they were like, dang, I like Nova Scotian music. I like the rap and stuff that's coming from here and the styles, and I want them to feel refreshed, like and happy, because there's a lot of negativity in the music industry right now, even with like diss tracks and stuff like that. So it's also letting people know that like it's okay to feel things and it's okay to go through your own things. You don't have to like put a smile on for other people because there's everyone's going through things, and I feel like the Lost in Thought album, like the concept behind it is like I feel like a lot of people are lost in their own thoughts, and by listening to this, it can kind of like hopefully bring people together in taking them from where the things areas of concern of their life that they're stressing over too much maybe, and then they can have the relief of refreshing music tones and vibes and flows and all that to help them get through it emotionally or spiritually or whatever it may be.
This is so refreshing hearing, real music, because yeah, I am not gonna lie to you. I mean, nowadays it's really diss tracks. It's so shocking. It's so hard to find rap nowadays that's not about someone else. I mean, just yesterday I heard Bia's putting out this new diss track, and it's like, are you kidding me? Another diss track? Like, it's getting really
Yeah,
old.
I think I heard that or she made a Cardi B one or something. That's just at the bit high the top figures and top peers in the music industry are battling it out for clout or for money, and I feel like there's a lot of this hip hop was based off and started from people just having fun, and when people see you having fun, they have no like they can't stop themselves but want to join in, and I feel like by um, artists showing that they're having fun, not having to engage in the negativity, will bring other people to a place of positivity and bring them to a place where they're able to create art that's meaningful to them in the way that they're not trying to catch up to someone or they're not focused on someone else's goals. They can kind of just be comfortable being and being themselves.
Absolutely. And the funny part is it used to be like like I'm sure older people or people who listen to a lot of music like me, when you listen to like older music, like I've listened to older music before, like Ice Cube and Tupac. Like when you listen to those like past, like you can really see how much rap has came from like fun, but also like they could be serious too, and real stuff in their rap. And like when you listen to a rap song, when you finish listening to it, like it feels you, like it hits you in that good place to where it's like a really good song. Like nowadays, it's like you know it doesn't even feel fun. It feels like either it feels forced or it feels like again
Yeah,
like
and it's almost like
ridiculous
draining. I
beats.
feel like the Ken like even with the Kendrick Lamar Drake stuff, it was like the people focusing and waiting on who is gonna drop the next song. Like it's almost emotionally draining for some of the fans, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like uh as artists we could be doing the opposite and like uplifting fans and making them want to do more and want to engage more and be happy and want to do stuff together or play basketball together while playing this song to make a clip or want them to go and do a dance together for TikTok or something and bringing people together rather than separating people, you know?
Absolutely. And like the problem I've seen people have is that they're very touchy. Like if you say something, it'll if you say like something like a comment, it could be anything. Suddenly it bothers you. Like even with Bia, like you know how that happened was literally like a line in a remix. It wasn't even Cardi's original song. It was Meg and Glow's song "Wannabe," and Cardi hopped on
Mm.
weird and she made that track about Bia, and suddenly now, like, the problem. Same thing with, God, there's so many beefs. Like, let's see, Megan and Nikki, like, even that is unnecessary beef, like, it's very hard to really find any joy in music anymore, like, nowadays, it's all about money, like, I'm not gonna even lie to you, it's very hard to find anything enjoyable in music anymore, like, everybody's, like, whole thing of music now is just, like, money grabs and what you can get, and, even Kendrick and Drake thing is dumb because everybody knows, like, everyone knows it's
Yeah,
Kendrick, everybody knows that, like, that beef, it's like, it's existed already, and people
yeah,
pick
and it's
pieces
like,
out of different
uh,
texts and, like.
I feel like some people don't like to listen to music where they feel attacked in the sense where like if they feel like they're attacked for being a fan of someone. So like say like some people will be like are afraid to be like considered a Swiftie because they feel like they'll get attacked or patronized from other fan bases for being someone who enjoys Taylor Swift music when it should be inclusive. Like it should feel like, oh, you're a fan of this music, here, come over, like, you know what I'm saying, we enjoy this music too. So there's definitely divides that could be merged in the music lanes.
Oh, yeah, oh my god, don't even get me started on Swiftie, like, even that's insane, like, it's very hard even for artists to, like, to track correctly because everyone's, like, listening to her new album, which sucks, just so everybody knows, like, it really does suck, so, it's just music has really changed, even from, like, 4, 3, like, years ago, like, it's, like, drastically changed, and, you know it doesn't even feel like music sometimes, it just feels like something they just put out just to put out, like, music
Yeah,
sometimes
sometimes
feels like,
it's,
oh,
yeah,
like,
I definitely know what you mean.
like, music used to feel like something you put out for fun, or used to be something you put out and you put it out because it was your idea, like, you wanted to put something out, like, it's something you wanted to do to express yourself just to put something. And now imagine it, like, this is 2024, 10 years ago was 2014. 2014, I missed that kind of music because it was, like, enjoyable music, there wasn't a lot of beefs, at least to the public eye, at least, and people were just kind of, like, enjoying themselves. Now it's like, it's even hard for, like, J.Lo and Justin Timberlake to even pop up because, of all these, interesting acts. Let's just put a word for it, interesting. So, definitely it's kind of like, it's really hard to really describe music in a way, but it's just kind of taken a drastic turn, and it's very hard to digest it, and it feels music now feels like a full-time job. Back then, it didn't really feel like a job. It felt like something you just. It's like one of those things like you wake up and you just do it and it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like a good thing for you. Now, music is like this exhausting thing that you have to just put out, just to put out, or else you're not gonna make any money or be successful. So,
Mhm.
it's so much
Yeah,
to
it's
yeah.
definitely a like a rapidly and ever changing landscape, the music industry.
Yeah, and even musicians like you and other people are overshadowed because of these acts. Like, I wish the Billboard charts charted like the UK charts, like the UK charts are very, I would say they're fair. Like, they
Mhm.
include like more people and like, it's more common for, other people who actually sonically sound good to appear on the charts than these in the Billboard charts now, where it's just like everything is controlled by streaming. And that's the other thing is streaming. I saw this thing on Instagram where how artists make money now. Like how they make money now is not even records anymore. It's basically streaming. Like if you played a song a million times, that's money that they get. Like,
Mm.
of your listenership, you get money. Like that's the thing now. Like 67% of sales for an album or a song is from streaming. Like that's insane.
Yeah, there's not many people that are getting actual physical album sales nowadays, and people are actually pretty scared to put their albums on disc or CD to sell them in that format because they feel like they might lose out by spending $2 or $3,000 in just like even a small batch of CDs or a small batch of discs, and like selling them, they might feel like they not might not be able to make it back. But I feel like it's more of like a novelty to have now because not many people are playing CDs in their cars or playing CDs, you know what I'm saying, for music just outside of the car.
Mhm.
Not many people have CD players, so it's more of a memorabilia or like a collector's item for like real fans. So that's why I would definitely suggest for artists to keep doing it because as long as people are still doing it, it'll still be around. But if everyone kind of makes it not the norm, then people will stop selling disc, and I feel like a lot of people um, make like there's a lot of people who sign deals where like they only give up part of their streaming or something like that, and most of their money comes from physical sales like CDs and merch. So um, I'd say I want people to like know that like if you want to support the actual artists, that's the best way too by like physical sales for them, and that if you're an artist, upcoming artist, that's something that you shouldn't let go if you feel discouraged to.
Oh, absolutely. I always loved CDs. Like, funny part about me is that I grew up, I didn't even have my first cell phone until like not even like 5 years ago. I think like 2 years ago was my first cell phone. Everything else was like CDs and like, you know, older stuff. Like CDs used to be like cool too. Like I remember back in the day, artists used to have pop-ups, like, at malls or, like, at a bookstore, and then millions of fans would show up, and they used to, like, sign your CD, and then that's what you keep, like, that's your memorabilia, like, that's when music used to, feel exciting, like, you were, like, up at, like, midnight waiting for this artist to drop something, or
Hmm.
you were just waiting at the store, just waiting for, like, a new shipment
Yeah,
of, their albums coming in, like, that thrill is, like, it's really gone, like, it
mhm.
really, truly, I feel it's, like, really gone, because, nowadays it's like, you get excited and, yeah, either it doesn't feel authentic or it doesn't last,
Mhm.
Again, music feels like a full-time job, like, it really does feel
Yeah.
like a full-time draining job for people, like, it's kinda hard to tell whether people enjoy even doing music.
And yeah, that's just it. A lot of people lose the passion once it starts to become like a business or a commerce. Once they realize, like people like, because in like a business or something, you have to kind of think like, oh, the customer's always right, but only to the sense of like, don't hurt yourself or detriment yourself to be able to mend yourself to someone else's needs. Like, don't change your content just for some fans or something like that because you want people to be a fan of you for you of yourself, but also knowing that um making stuff still your style, but making stuff more listenable or like have more replayability to it. That's also catering to the fans in a way of making it something that they like. So even if it's like they necessarily are looking for something different, like they're saying, people are saying, oh, you should start a new genre or something like that. Maybe instead of starting a new genre, you should just start with genre blending and like just work your way to it. Do what you feel comfortable with first, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and, authenticity is really I think it's really dead because, like, even with rap now, it's like it's very rare to even listen to a song and it feels different. Music used to feel different too, like, when you put out a song and another person put out a song, like, they used to feel, like, different where you can really distinct between the 2. Now it's hard to find rap songs that don't sound like another artist, that doesn't sound like
Yeah.
a Drake,
And
Kendrick, Nicki song, like,
I feel like a
like
lot
the
of people don't rap as like seeing as themselves in the sense of like someone like Little Pump or something like that. Where I'm not necessarily saying that Little Pump isn't Little Pump, but the things that he's rapping about and the way that he's portraying it is an overly exaggerated character. You know what I'm saying that like isn't fully possible for someone to be like all the time in reality. You know what I'm saying? And those type of things where it's like a gimmick just for one song, or uh, and people are just resonating with the song, it takes away from people wanting to listen to a full album experience. Like, and I feel like that's why the album's starting to die, because people are focusing more on singles in that one music video rather than to make a project that's cohesive. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as you were saying that, I was starting to think back to all the different albums that were released this year that people were excited for. As I was thinking back, I was like wondering, it's like, yeah, they focus a lot on singles, like, you know, and I feel like singles sometimes overshadows, an album. Like, you know, um, I feel like you should push your whole album, and all the
Mhm.
things equally. And then you get these like nice songs overshadowed because of a single, and then sometimes the single kind of sucks, and sometimes these overshadowed songs, sound better and sonically good, So, yeah, it's even hard to digest an album, because as I was thinking back to albums this year, like Ariana, Beyonce, I know I'm just naming pop songs. I'm sorry that I listen to a lot of pop, but I listen to rap too. I'm just naming the ones like Dua Lipa, Billy. As I was like listening back, it's kind of like very interesting nowadays to listen to an entire project. It's kind of like an finishing thing. So
Mm.
yeah, but it is what it is. Music will always evolve. I mean, I felt like the CDs are going to eventually disappear. Because now you don't really now thanks to this economy, you don't really need physical copies or CDs, to sell as long
Mm.
as you have a million streams on Spotify, you can get millions, chart and be successful just from that one place. And, you know, it's unfortunate, it's sad because I grew up on older music. So, I wasn't grew up on like Taylor Swift. I didn't even know what Taylor Swift was until middle school. So, I kind of just remember the older hits, those iconic hits. Nothing feels iconic much anymore. Like the older stuff is
Mhm.
iconic, not
Yeah,
yeah.
there's not many timeless hits, and I feel like that's why there's still like a lot of the classics are still around, because people like Michael Jackson and stuff like that, like Thriller, or um, uh, All I Want for Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. Uh, I feel like people need to start shooting more for a timeless masterpiece, where where then now people are more looking for something that is just going to give people a little bit of shock value for the one listen, not really give them a reason to come back type deal.
Right, absolutely. But that comes from just the work put into a song. Like, you know, of course you you have observed the industry like we have. So, you can tell when a song feels sonically and, you know, yeah, sonically complete. Timeless hits don't exist anymore really because like and this happened with me, like Madonna, she's an iconic pop artist and always will be. She's one of the top selling pop artists, one of the I listened to her song Vogue and I love Vogue. You guys, Vogue is an iconic dance song. I jam out to Vogue so damn much in the car, like it's so good. Other than the Vogue. Then I listened to what's a good song to compare? Oh yeah, Yes and. Let's pick Yes and because of what people compared it to. By Ariana, which let's see. I feel like she did put work into it. Now let's pick another one. Let's see. Well, I don't have specific ones, but the songs that are either short or you listen to a song and you feel like they could have added more, but they didn't add more because they can see that the shorter song is selling, so they just leave it instead of just like putting on an extended version. I feel like as
Mhm.
long as the song, to them, if it's selling, even if it's bad, like they don't really, know, pay attention much to like critics or to themselves. Like people like Madonna and Cher, they focus primarily on, not really catering to fans because, yeah, like you said, the iconic line, the customer's always right. Oh, like we're not right. Like people have such weird tastes nowadays, like wouldn't
Mhm.
trust our fan base if I was an artist. Like, well, no, that might be controversial to say. I would think twice about thinking more about catering. Back then, when you
Mhm.
made an album, it was about artist development. Like
Yeah.
every album is development of your sound, but also of your personal self. Like you can, like if you really looked at a discography, even from the cover art, even to like the different sounds, if they've physically and sonically developed as a person, and you can see the albums start to form parts of them as a person, that's when
Mm.
you can tell that they have put out, a very solid body of work. If you are looking at the discography and you're wondering, have they said enough, or what more do they have to say, or they could have said more, maybe they're not developing, well enough, in their craft, and they should be doing more instead of pushing for the whack singles.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because I feel like a lot of artists are selling a song rather than themselves. And let's just say, like, you want them, like, the song's good, but they're coming back for you, or they're a fan of you and your personality and your likability, and like the way you carry yourself or something like that. So if you drastically change it just because of one person, and a lot of people self-reflect, so a lot of fans will see themselves in you. So something that they think they should themselves they should do, they will like be like, oh, you should do this, but it's self-reflection because they see themselves in you through your art, and they feel like they get you. So it's also just I wouldn't necessarily get mad at people for giving too much advice that is not advice that you're not going to use, but also being thankful of the advice and knowing that they're only giving the advice because of a caring thing, or because they see themselves reflected in it, and they're like, this is what I would do or they would do, type deal. Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if only people would reflect more on themselves as artists, then their music would also, it would hit harder, but it also, you know, because an artist is a person, like they're people just like you and me who have a life, and music should be an expression of that life because, you know, like when you're out, people have questions about you. Like some artists don't think people will ask, but people have questions and theories about you as a person, like who you are. And some people with music just doesn't, like Ice Spice, for instance. Like we don't know anything about Ice Spice. Like I wish her music reflected her more as a person than just a sound that she's. Like music used to be that. When you listen to us, you can feel, that
A
you've
connection,
seen them,
yeah.
that they are, like it's very hard to get anything personable when it comes to listening to people. At least that's from me.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I mean, it's very hard to get anything personable. The only way for me to find out about an artist, if it's not through their music, I have to go through news articles, and people love to stretch the truth. So it's even hard to look at social media and news without people stretching the truth or hearing things. And then it's hard to even trust the news because source even come from because news people just love truth. So it's really hard to even find it in that sense. So, you know, that's why I really appreciate people like Michael Jackson and Dolly Parton and these older people who, when you look at their discography and you look at their whole array of how their albums are, you can truly see how much music has shaped them as a person to where they didn't change through their whole course of music. They've developed and grown over their music, and you know, nowadays it's hard to find that.
Mhm.
I mean, there's exceptional people like Beyonce, she's definitely, she's hard to like sometimes, but her music, has grown. Ariana, I would say, because Ariana, her whole thing was to find color, like as you can see through her albums, she was exploring color. So that's always something good to do.
Mm.
Like I feel like those people who have sonically developed and then developed in their music and then within themselves, you can really truly see that they're true artists who generally don't just look at data and just don't look at the songs, but then looking at themselves and then self reflection. Because when people listen to their songs and they're listening to them, remember you should want them to know about you because you know an artist is not a peer. An artist is not any different than a human being. Like they're still human beings who still have a life, and you should want to know about them. I would, if I was a fan, I would not want to know about them.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like there's like a Playboy Cardi effect where a lot of people try to hide themselves because they're afraid of to show the real them, because they feel like people won't connect with it, or like people have be like, oh, I didn't expect this. But there's artists like Four Bats and they're like who have like a sound that people would say doesn't match their look, but it's also, if he never did it, he would never launch to like as status that he's at, you know. So people have to have faith in themselves.
Yeah, faith, and that's just people not willing to try with themselves. If only people would just try and put an effort to represent themselves, then that fear will be gone because people really do, celebrate authenticity. I speak for myself. I admire artists who are true to themselves. Even if it doesn't sell, you're being true to yourself. I mean, with artists, it's kind of like you're choosing between either do you want it to sell or want people to know who you are. Like, you know, I guess it's kind of like a thing to really think about. Do you just want to sell music and have money, or do you want people to listen to you and they learn about you and that you feel it without? I feel like that's really something you have
Um,
to weigh on and just kind of really think about.
mhm.
But
Yeah, definitely showing a true self to your fans is a big like hurdle that people have to overcome. That it's kind of like taking a step off the ledge, you know.
absolutely, absolutely. But people have been known to make, and you reap what you sow. You deal with the hands you've been drawn or the hands that you draw.
Mhm.
So, at the end of the day, people, it's gonna hit them later on. The authenticity. It's gonna hit them later because you know people need to look in the mirror, think about like, is this who you want to be? Really enjoying yourself? Is this who you've become? Is this you? Like, you know. So I'm going to leave on that note, and I hope you all have taken this time to really think about the music industry as well, and thinking about the artists that you guys worship. And I really hope that you've taken in this reality, and it feels good. This feels really good to talk about. So this is
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
absolutely, and I just wanted to thank you as well for even responding to me, and I am very happy we've gotten a chance to talk about the highlights of, your life so far, and even having the conversation I appreciate. It feels really good to talk about the music industry with someone who's been in it. So that feels, really good, and I appreciate you a lot for that. And first, and then congrats on everything with the album, with performing, getting a chance to perform. You have done, extraordinary things, and I for one am very proud of you, and I'm very, very excited for what lies ahead for you. Just want to say that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And last question before I go. As people are listening and as people are checking out socials, just kind of wanted to see what is exactly next for you because we have officially reached the middle of 2024. So for you, what does the rest of the year look like as far as music, your personal life, an entire life update for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time like really focused in it on my last album. So now that I have it out, I don't want to oversaturate the market in the sense of that like I did another little release, but I'm not planning on any another big releases till further into the summer. Maybe I might drop a few like it's like party type songs or summer type songs, just to like overfill people, but definitely not until like the holiday season until I probably drop another full length project like from JBT-JD. But I will definitely be appearing on lots of projects and in the meantime, lots of features and lots of guest appearances and stuff like that.
Good point. I mean, this was a big release for you. So that makes a lot of sense. So I'm really super excited and very proud and so honored to have had you on to start off our season 4. So last things to all of you listening, thank you so much for listening in. You can check out all his socials and all his music down below in the link provided. And for a special treat, and I'm still doing right after this, you all will get a chance to listen to one of his songs called Sailor Moon. Um, and this is a really cool song too, so y'all get a chance to hear it. And let me know your thoughts on it as well. And I think it's pretty cool, but I just want to see what you all think. And yeah, if you have not gotten the chance to listen to Scared to Love or Lost in Thought, those are on platform as well. If you have not gotten a chance to see his performance, it's available on his Instagram. So definitely, take a peek at that. And I appreciate you all so much for watching. And thank you all so much for supporting me and tuning in. And I really hope that what we've talked about hits you. And that's pretty much all for now. And I cannot wait for the rest of the season. We got so much in store for you all, and this is just the beginning. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and see y'all on the next interview. Peace out. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight as we dove into a wonderful podcast episode. Now, in this following segment, you will get a chance to hear this artist's showcase because every artist that comes on the show requires to do a showcase. So, buckle up, get some popcorn, and enjoy the showcase. I hope you guys love it and check out the artist when you get a chance to. Hope you guys love it. Enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, okay, let's go. What? Huh? Yeah, ay. Every time that I'm around, your girl be trying to see me. We gon' crack a bottle, she rub dick just like a genie. You know how we whippin' this shit up like it's linguine. And I'm gon' rip it up and rippin' drifts like Lamborghini. Woulda tried to copy all the sauce like fettuccine. Had her over last night, she was eating my zucchini. Ooh, she looking dreamy in a bikini, watching TV. Believe me, shawty shorty so sneaky, she get the chance and she probably could freak me. Ooh, you know what she do for a pilot bag. She fucking your friend, is you proud of that? Just like Houdini, I'm in and I'm out of. Way that she throw it back, finna give me a heart attack. She star in the night, like saying the moon. I came with the sauce, she came with the juice. She take off the top, she been getting loose. She playing my own like she playing the flute. My gas be loud, don't pass me mute. These boys some clowns, these boys confused. My girl be fine, my girl too cute. Your girl a flirt, your girl gon' choose. She twerk with money, make her do. She sloppy, taught me like kazoo. She probably want me in a room like bitch bye-bye like toodaloo. Every time that I'm around, your girl be trying to see me. We gon' crack a bottle, she rub dick just like a genie. You know I be whipping this shit up like it's linguine. And I'm gon' rip it up and rip and drips like Lamborghini. Ooh, they tried to copy all the sauce like fettuccine. Had her over last night, she was eating my zucchini. Ooh, she looking dreamy in a bikini, watching TV. Believe me, shawty so sneaky, she get the chance and she probably could freak me. They all just be copying cause I gave them the blueprint. Only heard one track and now she says she likes my music. Ain't got time to talk about, I'd rather get right to it. I gave you all my trust and love, so baby, please don't lose